YouTubers. It is Kimber Witchery here. Hi, thank you for joining me. This is the third video I've done today, and this is the third video that comprises my catching up with the YouTube Pagan challenge, which started on January 1st, and I am now starting on February the 17th, but there we go. This video will deal with prompts 5 and 6, and I'll jump straight in. If you watched the previous two videos, then you know where this goes. If you haven't, then I highly recommend you click back and watch the two videos I've done prior to this, comprising prompts 1 to 4. But for this video, I'll just jump straight in. So, number 5 is, what does this time of year mean to you? Well, this is a difficult one because this was obviously meant to be done like 2 weeks ago, or maybe more. Like at the beginning of February, so that would be Imbolc, but I guess it's only 15 days late, so for me, this time of the year represents rebirth and hope, because you've just come out of a really cold winter. There's still vestiges of winter, you know, it's still very cold outside, it's still very frosty, and you know, the days are still cold, there's still snow on the ground. But for me, it's that hope, it's that waiting for the snowdrops to come through. It's the wait for the first buds of new life to pop through the ground, to see the plants coming out. It's a warming up of the earth and of us as we wait for the turning of the season to spring. And I love spring, so I always have loved spring, it's my favourite season. So for me, this time of the year is very, very exciting. It's the time of the year when the goddess is ripening. She is waking up as if she'd been sleeping. It's a time of great excitement and joy for the coming spring. And it's just a building up, really. It's the only way I can describe it, and I apologise for any of my younger viewers, but the only way I can describe it is that feeling when you're building up to an orgasm and you know it's coming and you're looking forward to it, but you're not quite there yet. It's kind of like that. For me, anyway. I absolutely love this time of year. Obviously I love full spring just as much, if not more, but this time for me is incredibly powerful, incredibly hopeful, and very, very positive. Because it represents that we've survived the winter, it represents that we've come through the cold winter, the cold days are shortening and the nights are lengthening, and the days are lengthening, I mean, and the nights are shortening, and it's just a really happy, joyous time, I feel personally anyway. So yeah, that is February to me. It's also my mother's birthday on Imbolc. She is an Imbolc baby, despite not being pagan in the slightest. So it's a time of great celebration, because my birthday is at the end of January. My mother then is a week later and at Imbolc, and it's just a very happy celebratory time, which is really good. I've always liked this time of year. I don't like especially being cold. I don't dislike winter, but I don't particularly love it either. It's not my favourite season. So coming into spring, even though it is slow and very, very subtle, it's one of my favourite times of the year. So I love this time of the year, to answer that prompt. And number 6 is an interesting one. What are your cultural influences? I'm not entirely sure what they mean by this question, but I'll go with what I think it's asking me. My culture, my birthplace, my bloodline is Celtic. I was born in South Wales. I don't know if I'm a full-blooded Celt. I believe I am, but I don't know, simply because this area of Wales boomed during the Industrial Revolution, and a lot of people from England and other countries came to South Wales for the work, to work in the pits, to work in the factories, to work in the ironworks and the steel industries. So, as far as I can ascertain, I am a full-blooded Celt. My parents were born in Wales, both sets of grandparents were born in Wales. I don't know about their parents, I haven't been able to look far back enough, but my culture is very much Welsh. I am not a fluent Welsh speaker. I did learn Welsh at school, like most, actually in Wales, I don't know if it still is, but it certainly was when I was growing up. In Wales, Welsh is mandatory. You have to do it for GCSE level, and I think now it may even be mandatory for A level to some extent. I could be wrong, correct me if I am. But I resonate very strongly with the tales of the Mabinogion. I resonate very strongly with Welsh deities and concepts and the pantheon. I love the language, even though I've forgotten most of it, which is something I'm really, really regretful of. I can still read Welsh. If you put something in front of Welsh in front of me, I would be able to read it to you and pronounce it mostly accurately. However, I wouldn't have much idea of the meaning, which does make me sad. And hopefully one of these days I will pick up the language again and get to a place where I can use it. That said, that doesn't necessarily bother me in terms of ritual use, because I'm a great believer in that the gods will answer to us in whatever religion we speak. That doesn't make any sense. I'll say that again, scratch that. I'm a great believer that the gods will answer to us no matter what language we speak. I do believe that the gods speak all human languages and none, and their own languages, and Enochian, the language of the angels. I really do believe that gods can contact us in whichever language we use in our daily lives. So just because I can't speak to Rhiannon or Arianrhod in a perfect Welsh tongue doesn't mean that they can't speak to me. And I've always believed that. My blood feels Welsh. I still live in Wales. I feel a very powerful connection to the Celtic countries. I love most parts of Wales. Some days I hate it, but most of the time I love it. The spirits of place here have accepted me. I feel equally powerful and equally connected in Cornwall, which is an area of southern England, for those of you who aren't British on my channel. Cornwall is an area of southern England which has a very, very high Celtic population and was a Celtic stronghold many years ago, in ancient times. They are fiercely protective of their country. A lot of Cornish will identify themselves as Cornish, not English, which is interesting, being as it's technically a county of England. And what's even more interesting is that I don't know much Cornish, but from what I have seen of it on signs and from where I have heard it spoken, it's pretty much a dead language now. The last fluent speaker was Dolly Pentreth, and she died a long time ago. The living language pretty much died with her, but I am aware that there is a modern resurgence and people are trying to learn it again and use it, which I think is fabulous. What is very interesting is that fishermen from Wales and fishermen from Cornwall have met in waters between French Brittany and, of course, Britain. And correct me if I'm wrong, this could be an old language again, it could be a dead language, but I am aware that Breton, which is the language of Brittany, Breton, is very, very similar to both Cornish and Welsh, so much so that they could speak their own languages and understand one another if they met if they met on the water, which fascinates me. Welsh is a Brythonic language. Don't ask me what that means, I couldn't possibly explain it. If you're interested, you can of course Google it. The only reason I know that is because I did a lot of language study at university as part of my English degree, and it came up that English is a Germanic language and so on and so forth, and I learned most of the modern Celtic languages, Gaelic, Scots Gaelic. I don't think Scots Gaelic is Brythonic actually. But there's a classification for each of the Celtic languages. Don't ask me the details, I can't remember. I wish I'd never mentioned it now because I'm digging myself into a hole. But the point is that the languages are similar enough that they can converse in their own languages and understand one another, which blew my mind, which is really cool. So that is my cultural influence. I use that. I don't work with entirely Celtic deities, that said, or Welsh ones. I have in the past. Currently I'm working with Isis and Brige or Brigid and Aphrodite, because those are the goddesses that have called to me as part of my Fellowship of Isis initiation ceremony and my ordination rite. I am a priestess of the Fellowship of Isis, and those are the goddesses that chose me during the initiation rite. The ordination ceremony, I mean. So I'm working with those at the moment. That said, I still feel a very powerful pull to the Welsh deities and their stories. Other than that, I'm very interested in ancient shamanic tradition, again some of which ties to the Welsh. I'm currently researching the rites of the Munai Key, which some believe is a modern appropriation of the rites of the Quero shamans in Peru. It's an interesting concept, and I am very interested in the course that I'm doing about it and the things that I am reading. I don't wish to appropriate anyone's culture, but it's an interesting concept and it calls to me, so I'm going to use it. I'm also interested in Native American culture, purely as an interest. I don't use much of it, although I do have a medicine bag. I don't believe I have any Native American blood in me, being as I'm not American, and I don't think I have any American heritage. So, yes. Apart from that, I don't really think I have any other cultural influences, so I'm going to wrap this video up. This is the third video I will do today. I'm not sure if everybody else is on week 7 yet. I'm going to do a YouTube search after I finish this video and find out. If so, I'll do the other video sometime this week. I don't see the point in rushing to do it because it's only Wednesday now and I have plenty of time. So, thank you very much for watching this video and sticking with me. If you've watched all 3 videos, you deserve a prize. You really do. All of my subscribers and my viewers mean very much to me, so thank you very much for being here. I do appreciate every single one of you, and it's just blown my mind that people are actually watching my videos and listening to my rambling. So thank you for that. This is a really interesting challenge. If you haven't done it yourself, I highly encourage you to do so. The prompts are very interesting and make you think, and I've had to think about these videos quite a while. So much so that I printed this out about 4 days ago, and only now am I doing the videos. Excuse me one moment. And that doorbell sound was the sound of my lunch arriving. So I'm going to say goodbye now. Thank you all for watching again. Have a wonderful day. Do the YouTube Pagan challenge, and blessed be. Bye guys.